New at 5, a condo is going up next to one of the oldest bars on the West Coast. It was built on top of a spot where ships anchored during the gold rush before it was all filled in.
Yeah, during construction, crews struck what they think is part of a sunken ship. KPIX5's John Ramos has the story.
The old Ship Saloon on Pacific Street is one of the oldest buildings in downtown San Francisco, and legend said it may sit above the remains of a clipper ship called the Arkansas. So in September, when developers began clearing the land next door to build condos, they called in archaeologists to dig around a bit.
Sort of like fact and fantasy, but we had a lot of information to justify really looking for it during our testing.
And they hit pay dirt, or in this case, wood. They found a large timber called a false keel that once protected the bottom of the ship. The mystery of the Arkansas had been solved, but how it got here is vintage San Francisco. When gold was discovered in 1849, the city's population increased by 25 times in 1 year.
There was a lot of sort of ramshackle structures in the beginning, and
so all the ships tied up in the shallow harbor became floating real estate. The Arkansas was converted into a store and later a saloon. And eventually, as the city grew, the area of the harbor was filled in, with the old ships buried right where they sat. But since the soggy timber has been in wet mud for 150 years and would have crumbled in the dry air, the developer, Grosvenor America, returned it to its watery grave. And that's where it will remain, buried along with all the other unanswered questions about the past.
It's a mystery that can be solved by future archaeologists if this site is redeveloped. It's still there, you know.
In another 100 years,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It's good to keep some of the mystery alive, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
In San Francisco, John Ramos, KPIX 5.